Hello, everyone. I hope you will watch it after. It will be a very short one today because I only had one question. So something to sort of pay attention to is that not many of you checked in. I know people drop out as the shred goes by, but it was like, less than 20 people checked in comparison to 56 2 weeks ago. So I understand your motivation is dropping out and sort of I think maybe it wasn't the best time for you to do it now, that you sort of just stopped. But also I would like you to continue doing some good processes because it would be nice to know why. It's always quite interesting when that happens. Anyhow, so I had one question and I will then analyze the tracker. So unless I will hear from I have my phone with me here, so if I will have any questions now, I will answer. Let me know any other questions as I'm recording. Cool. So the question was about steps. If you have a desk-bound job and you only do your steps, like hit your target twice a week, is it okay to make it up for the rest of the week? And yeah, absolutely. When you look at anything, in terms of your food intake, your alcohol intake, your workload in general in life, it's the low of averages. So, if you go for a 20,000 step walk one day, and then you have 4 steps for 6 days, you end up with 44,000 steps for that week total. And that doesn't matter how you cut it. Obviously the difference as well is then how you stress your body, right? Because if you do very few steps but then you do one massive one, you will just, the recovery or the adaptation to the stressors won't be as good. But that's down to your lifestyle and your lifestyle choices. That's not, for me to sort of solve it for you. But yeah, absolutely, I don't think it matters. Same with calories. Obviously, if you bank your calories for the weekend and you eat more on the weekend or drink more on the weekend, on average, it doesn't matter. All it matters is that you feel like shit next day or maybe for next few days. So that's, that can affect your also food intake, mood, mental health, and sleep. And, these are not to be dismissed, but again, these are your lifestyle choices. So it's not something that I can sort of help you with, in that sense. I'm here to provide you information and create a motivational environment, but you have to root for yourself because I'm rooting for you. So yeah, that's absolutely fine. You can make up the steps on the weekend or other days where you are not desk bound. So I hope that helps. Yeah, and I guess without further ado, I will just go into a shred tracker of Becca. She was okay with me sharing it. So just for context, Becca said she's not losing any weight. Very disheartened in a third week of shred. So just have that in mind, not losing any weight. And I think, seeing the group, that can be quite reflected across the group. So let me just sort of give you my piece about that. Yeah, so I think you can see my screen. Okay. Now, so this is Becca's diary. Becca is weighing in Monday, Wednesday, and either Friday or Saturday, or depends on the weeks, but tries at least twice a week. Becca records her steps, records very diligently her calories and her macros, and what am I doing? And her weight. So, according to Becca, not losing any weight, and then my immediate thing is you losing 0.4 kilograms a week, which is 1 pound, right? But take the number 1 pound aside. As I always say, you should be losing 0.5 to 1% of your body weight per week, right? So 1% of body weight when you weigh 70 is 0.7 kilogram. So, and half of that is 0.35. So Becca is losing on the lower end range, but is losing in a healthy range. So there's nothing I would be alarmed about that here. So I would say, first of all, you are losing weight. And if you continue in that trend, by the end of the shred, you're going to lose another, almost 4 pounds. So if you think about thinking that you're not losing weight, but you already lost 3 pounds, and by the end of shred, you're going to lose half a stone, I think is a great score, right? But so that's how we have to look at it. But then another thing that sort of got to my attention is how you can, if you want to lose weight a little bit quicker, right? How can you do that? So the immediate thing, what I noticed with Becca, her average calorie consumption was at around 80, then 90 week 2, and then 80 week 3. Drops out around in the middle of the week and on the weekend, so something to pay attention to. But her carbs are consistently at the level that they sort of, Rebecca set herself up. So my suggestion will be, and that's where it can be sort of tricky, right? If your body tends to hold on water, for every 1 gram of carbs, that your body has to draw 3 grams of water to digest it. So basically, you may feel a bit bloated, or you feel like you're holding on to water and not losing weight when you eat a bit more carbs. Another thing, your body uses less own energy to digest carbs versus digesting protein. And carbs and protein have the same calories per gram. So what I suggested to Becca, if she can increase her protein 200 or 110 grams, so jump it by 25 grams a day, but drop 25 grams from carbs, she will see a massive, I think, massive result in how much water will she lose. So the weight will go down. And also the feeling of holding on to the weight and not losing it will completely dissipate, in my opinion. So that will be a big game changer for your physique. Is switching up, bumping up a little more protein, taking a bit away from carbs. And that can be done in several ways. You can plate your plate with more vegetables rather than starchy carbs, and you remove 25 grams of carbs from your rice to add 25 grams for your protein. And that can be done again in several ways. You can add lentils, you can add a bit of meat, you can add a bit of tofu, prawns, whatever. You can add a protein yogurt or skyr or Greek yogurt throughout the day. There are ways to increase it, right? So as I say, protein with every meal and fruit and or veg, I would say 4 to 7 times a day, and then you will, and drink your 2.5 liters of water at least, and you will not be going hungry or feeling that you're not losing weight. So I think this is a good example for everyone, that if you feel you're not losing weight, please check your differences. Check if it's between 0.5% and 1% of weight per week. And then try to keep ramping up the protein and water. Because protein, water, and some fiber will be determinants for you. And this should be at the forefront of your mind when you enter a shop, when you are in a rush, when you are stressed, bored. Like, okay, you're going to reach for foods that you normally reach. You're going to reach for, a cookie or a chocolate bar or something, but try to reach for an apple. Try to reach for a yogurt. Try to reach for something that you think, actually, that will help me feel better later. Because often we are trying to solve an emotional issue with food, and food is not a solution to any emotional issue, right? It's not. And ends up us feeling a bit worse off later. And also look out for your triggers. Your trigger might be the second glass of wine. So maybe think hard if you want that first glass, because is it actually first glass, or is it just a start of the habit that you are into, the pattern that you try to get out of? So be very honest with yourselves and see what traps you place for yourself to succeed. How do you sabotage yourself? Think long and hard about it. And I think you can come up with solutions. Like you know the answers. You have all the answers you need. You just need to be honest with those answers. So I hope that helped. it's sometimes when we feel we're not losing weight, it's sometimes the diet is carb heavy and nothing wrong with carbs. It's just that body draws a bit more water to digest them and doesn't digest them as effectively as protein. So that's, I know I bang on about it. Eat more carbs, eat more protein, eat carbs, but eat more protein, drink water, sleep, try to sleep well, do your steps, right? And eat 4 to 6, 7 pieces of fruit and veg a day, and you'll be golden. Okay, I hope this helps. I haven't got any answers from you, or questions, sorry. And I realize making this at 12 p.m. is as engaging as at 4 p.m. So, yeah, but I hope this really short video will give you this refocus needed for the next 3 weeks of shred. And then week after we have Icon Games and the party. See you later.